Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm back with a new layout for the Paige Evans design team, and I'm going to be using the Whimsical collection today and one of Paige's cut files. It's hard to see, I've already got it cut here, but this is one of her fireworks cut files, and I'm going to use paper number 2. That's what this paper is here. It's got little teeny tiny thin stripes in rainbow color. And I'm going to make this a New Year's Eve or a Happy New Year layout. And so I've got these cute pictures of my Paige from a few years ago. I got her to wear that Happy New Year headband for about 5 seconds before she slung it off. So I did manage to get a few cute pictures of her. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a lot of white gesso here. I haven't even pulled this off the cutting mat yet. I like to do this because it ensures that my paper is going to stay flat long enough for me to put on it what I need to. And I added quite a few mini coats here to kind of blend out a lot of those stripes. And you think I would know by now, let the paper dry completely before you peel it off your mat, but I was impatient. It did dry some, but it was still a little bit damp, and so it was kind of flimsy. But I've never ruined a cutting mat by doing this. I've added gesso, I've done, I've added sprays and paints and things like that while the paper is still on the cutting mat. The only thing is this right here is sometimes the cutouts don't want to just stick to the mat. They come off too, so you have to help them a little bit. But it cut very nicely. I just had to help punch it out. But here you can see this adorable cut file. This would be perfect for 4th of July. Like I said, I'm using it for a New Year's page, any type of celebration. And when I think of New Year's, I think of fireworks. And so I thought that would be the perfect cut file. And it's going to take up a lot of the background. And so it's going to help this layout kind of come together pretty quickly. So since I've got a lot of this background covered in gesso and a lot of the stripes sort of blended out, it's ready for some paint or sprays. And I'm going to go minimal with my sprays here. I do have some shimmers, and I just want to add a little bit of color. I don't want to color the whole thing because I want to use that really bright, that paper right there. I think that's paper number 15 if I'm not mistaken, but it reminds me of a kaleidoscope, and it's got pretty much every color in the collection on it. And I don't want the sprays that I'm adding here to take away from all the color in the background. So I'm just going to add a little bit here, some aquas, some pinks, and some yellows, and I'm just spraying it right on, adding a little bit of water with my brush and kind of smudging it around. And then yeah, I let it dry, and then I'm going to back everything but the stars with this paper here. And I chose this paper because it's very bright, it's got all the colors, and I like the way it looked behind the cut file because it was just all these little pops and specks of color, and that's what I wanted. I didn't want to back each of those little ovals and lines individually, and so I thought, well, I'm just going to use this paper here, and then I'm going to go back after I trim this up and back all the stars with different papers. And so all the stars are going to be more of solid colors, whereas everything else is going to be just little flecks of color. And I just glued that straight down, and then I'm going right underneath it and trimming off all the excess. And you can see when I pulled my background paper off the cameo mat, it was a little bit warped because I did add a lot of gesso. And I did let it sit overnight, and a lot of people ask me what I do to flatten out my papers. And what I do is I grab some old paper pads, like, of cardstock or big thick paper pads that I've bought in the past and haven't used yet that are kind of heavy and bulky. And I just sit them right on top of my background paper overnight. And then in the morning, it's great. It's flattened out. Everything is, most of the wrinkles are gone, and it works out great. Now I pulled out the 6x6 paper pad from Whimsical here, and I'm going to use this to back all of the stars. I think I did use a couple of pieces of 12x12 papers also, but I just tried to pick colors that were in the other pattern paper, and I like how that looks. Very, very colorful. I also did some stitching. I pulled out I think 5 or 6 colors of thread, and I did 3 or 4 lines of each color around. It just kind of reminded me of a sunburst, but because I tend to like to stitch when I make a sunburst on my layout, but this kind of just reminded me of that. You know, I liked the way it looked, and I thought it would add some fun texture and more color and a little bit of dimension. And I just like not hand stitching. I do like hand stitching, but machine stitching. And so I just felt like it gave it a little bit more of a finished look. Okay, so now I'm going to work on the photos and the embellishments. I knew exactly where my photos were going to go since I had that nice big open spot down on the bottom right area. And I'm going to kind of overlap the photos like you see there. And I've said this a lot, but you know, when you have a big cut file like this, it kind of limits, or not limits, but it helps you to have less space to work with as far as your photos and embellishments. So unless you want to cover up the huge firework, you know, you only have this bottom right area for everything else to go. And so I don't really need to do anything else to the top part because it's already done. The cut file is good the way it is. And so now you know, I don't have to add that much around the photos, but I am going to kind of try several things here. I'm going to back the photos with some of the 6x6 paper, and I'm going to add just little torn strips of that rainbow paper or rainbow striped paper with the gold, just to kind of echo the whole rainbow idea. And I wanted to use this rub-on that says happy because I'm going to go very simple with my title. It's just going to be Happy New Year. And I'm going to add this rub-on first, though. I wanted to put it on top of the photos, but obviously since it's a rub-on, it would not show up on top of the photos, and my photos are kind of uneven. So I just rubbed it onto some white cardstock first and then cut it out. And so now it's like an embellishment, and I can move it around. Okay, I decided that I wanted to do a little bit more mixed media, and so I pulled out some of the stars that I punched out of the cut file, and they've already got gesso on them from when I added that in the beginning, and I thought I would color some of them up myself. And so I just pulled out some greens and aquas and blues of some of my shimmer sprays there, and I'm going to color this one up and even add a little bit of Heidi Swap Gold Color Shine, and I'm going to use that in the center bottom area of the photo underneath the word happy. And then I pulled out the rest of the rub-ons, the sticker sheet, the chipboard stickers, just looking for things that I could use. You know, it depends on what color it was or what it said or the shape of it. I really wasn't feeling flowers at this point because there are a ton of florals in this collection, but I kind of wanted to stick with stars since that's kind of the theme here. And so I tried to steer clear from the flowers so far. Believe it or not, there's going to be some flowers that actually do make it to this layout. At this point, okay, here's where I start to make some mistakes that I wasn't too happy with, that I keep working to fix. I realized when I put the photos down that you couldn't really see any of the mixed media kind of around the sides or underneath the pictures. I felt like underneath the photos was just too bland. So I thought, well, maybe I'll add some pink, and that way you can kind of see some pink poking out, or not poking out, peeking out from underneath the photos. And so I just kept adding it, and I didn't like it. It was just like this big pink splotchy blob. So I'm going to kind of work around it. At this point, I just think, well, let me add some stuff on it and see how it looks. It just kind of looked like a pink blob. I didn't like it. It didn't, I don't know. I didn't like it. It didn't look natural, if that makes any sense. But I'm going to keep working at this point. I haven't glued anything down as far as, well, never mind. Yes, I did. Just glue the photos down. At that point, I hadn't glued any photos down. I'm going to go ahead and glue those down because I know that's where they're going to go. And then going to add that little sticker in between them. It's very faint, but it looks like a little rainbow striped ruler. Okay, here's where I took a break, came back, let everything dry, kind of almost dry. And I thought, okay, that's just too much pink. I'm going to cover it up. So you know me. What is my answer to all problems? Just slap some gesso on top of it. And I knew that it would still be kind of pink, but it wouldn't be as bright. And I like that a lot better. It's very, very faint, but you can still see a little bit of the color down there. I wish all life's problems could be solved with cover it up with gesso and it will all be better. Wouldn't that be great? I'm having a bad day. Just slather some gesso on yourself. Everything will be better. Yeah. Too bad the real world isn't fixed by gesso, because when it comes to scrapbooking, yeah, gesso is awesome. So you can kind of see the title starting there. I put the green star on top of the photos and happy on top of that. And then I'm going to use a couple more of the rub-ons, little stars, and I'm just going to put those right on the little white areas of the photos. And then I'm going to go through the sticker book, the sticker sheet, and just kind of play around with some things. I'm going to use that little sticker there. It's a rainbow star. And then I'm going to use these to finish up New Year. And these are the cutest rainbow mini foam thickers ever made. I love them. I wish I had a never-ending supply of these. So many fun colors. You could go bright and bold, and there's some softer colors too, so you have all kinds of options. And I am going to add glue behind all of those because I use so much gesso. I knew that they would eventually fall off. So when in doubt, add glue behind everything. So my title's really small. I like the way that looks. You know, and again, where else would I put the title? I didn't want to cover up any of the fireworks, and I felt like it would look kind of odd over to the left, and so I like it right where it is. There's really no room for a giant big title. Sometimes layouts have the perfect spot for a big title, and it all just depends on your design, the size of your photos, how many photos you're using. So I like the small title for this one. Now here I'm just going to continue to look through embellishments and see what I have. I'm going to use a couple of stickers, those little half, well, I call them kind of half arrow stickers. One half is pointing one way and the other end is straight. I've got two of those. One says, I can't remember what they say. One says hope and I can't remember the other one. But they're kind of like, remind me of, you know, New Year's resolution type things for the future. And I wanted to use a couple more of the stars that I punched out of the cut file. And so I'm going to color them gold because I felt like I needed some more shimmer on this layout since, you know, it is a New Year's layout and that's all about glitter and shimmer. So I'm going to use these three big ones here, and then I punched a couple more out of white cardstock with just a star punch from my stash, and I'm going to color those gold as well. Heidi Swap Gold Color Shine. Oh, love it. And this bottle is almost empty, and I think I have one more bottle to go before I'm out, and I'm not looking forward to that day. So now that these are, yep, they're not dry. I would be lying to you if I said I waited for them to dry because they're not. I'm going to tuck those in a couple places, and then I'm going to scatter these little ones around the firework just to add a little more, you know, a little more pop of stars and a lot of shine. And I like the way that looks because, you know, you can't go wrong with gold shimmer. Yeah, you're probably thinking, where's the thread? You haven't added any thread yet. Of course it's coming. Here it is. I added in some, what color is that? I think it's more like a dark, nope, not yet, purple. Light purple over on the left. And then I think I'm going to add the blue to the right. No, I add pink to the right. Why am I guessing? I should just be patient and wait and see as I do it. Yeah, here comes the dark pink. That's going to go on the right. Yep, I was right. Dark pink over on the right, and that's going to match that deep dark pink color in the papers. And then I think I did, oh, I don't think I used the dark blue. I used the light blue underneath the title area there. And I wanted to add some adhesive foam to those little tiny stars that I painted gold. So I'm going to add some adhesive behind those and then glue those down so they're going to stand up off the page just a little bit for some dimension. And here you can kind of see, when you tilt it in the light, you can definitely see how shimmery and sparkly that is. Love that. Make sure all of those stars are glued down and my thread. This is paper number 18, and it is full of fun sayings, very, very general sayings that go with so many different themes. This is a little light blue speech bubble. It says, "Oh yeah." I thought that was cute, and I liked that it was a light blue color. And then this one says, "Sunshine and good times ahead." And I thought that was perfect for, you know, a positive outlook on the new year. And I just didn't know where I was going to put it yet. And I finally decided to put it right underneath the title because it wasn't a very bright and bold color. I don't feel like that it took away from the title or anything like that. I'm going to use the "Oh yeah" piece up at the top. And then here's where I decided to add some flowers. And flowers and stars I usually don't use together, but I felt like I needed something up above that photo on the left. And so if I add one at the top, I feel like I need to add one at the bottom. And so I'm going to fussy cut this bright pink one out from the floral pattern paper and tuck it in right there at the bottom. And I like the pop of pink that that gives. And I'm going to use a blue leaf. And again, the flowers were kind of a random addition to this, but I like the way it looks, and it's okay. I fought using the florals almost this entire layout, and it was a last-minute decision, and I'm happy with how it looks. So, flowers and stars. There are no rules. If you want the flowers and stars together, go for it. Almost finished here. Last thing I'm going to do is add my journaling. And again, I thought, where's my journaling going to go? There's only so much space left. So I'm going to do it right over here to the left, and I'm going to use my black fine tip Sharpie to write that in. And I actually forgot to add the date. I'm going to have to go back and do that. I photographed this layout and everything and then realized I forgot to add the date. So I will do that. But I did some stitching through that bottom piece there underneath the New Year. But that's the final layout. I love how bright this turned out. I love the colors. It was fun to make. And I really like how the cut file looks. And I think this would look really, really good, like I said, with 4th of July or a birthday celebration, any type of fun celebratory theme. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the products or the techniques or Paige's cut files. I always link Paige's blog and her cut files below, so make sure you check those out. Thank you so much for watching and your comments. I appreciate all of it. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you in the next video.